What are some of, I would say, controllers' frustrations when it comes to ground operations? Like, what are some of the biggest things that frustrate you guys that we do as pilots? Welcome back to E3 TV. Today, we're getting unfeathered access to Fort Lauderdale Executive's Tower. We're gonna deep dive into the operations, get up in the tower and see how things operate here. You know, this is one of the busiest executive airports in the country. Give you an idea, international airports like Miami International, Logan, all the Blarvos, that's at a level 12. Full Auto Executive is a level 7 and it goes down to like the 3 to 4 area. So that just gives you a little bit of idea how busy this airport is. So we got some great people to talk to, some great things to see. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so now we're on the other side, runway 9 here at FXE. Like we said, one of the busiest executive airports anywhere. But so now we went from clearance to you handed it off to ground from this point. What's the process from that point?
So ground will then give the taxi instructions to the movement area, which is going to be the taxiways, and get them to the runway. And sequence them, of course, for the local controller or tower controllers, pilots know it, to the runway for depart. Sometimes we have a long line waiting to go for releases. Like today's a perfect example, weather day. We have a lot of flow to the north. So our releases, IFR releases, we'll kind of stack them on taxiway alpha. Those that fly in and out of exec will hear the repeated changing of full length or at alpha 2 for departure, and that's usually reference to IFR releases. Okay. So we'll sequence them for the intersection to be able to depart, get them out as efficiently as we possibly can.
So question I have, and want to get thoughts from you guys, if you give a clearance to cross a runway, you know, should that pilot be, when they get on or they're crossing that runway, all lights on at that point while they're crossing the runway?
That's going to be up to the pilot. We're not really noticing the landing lights.
This isn't a training course. We just want to be clear. We're not training.
Yeah, no, not at all. We don't notice. The lights and all the operation aircraft is all up to the pilot. Okay. We don't get into specifics, just like we don't want the pilots to get into specifics of how we control aircrafts. Okay. So yeah, turning land lights on or whatever lights are whatever on, that's up to the pilot. The only thing that we'll see, we have binoculars, make sure everything is tidy on the aircraft. Baggage doors is a big thing that sometimes before an aircraft departs,
if they're
rolling, they start departing. Doesn't matter if it's a training aircraft or sometimes like a Navajo or small piston or a jet prop. They'll depart and the cargo door will be ajar, and then they'll have to abort takeoff or something along those lines.
So you're always looking for that then?
Absolutely, no, absolutely. Anything that seems amiss, entering the cells. We've seen that we're even on a jet, a Lear, for example, last week. The cowling at the bottom end of the jet, right before the reverser, it was loose panel, so we just let the pilot know. Okay. So you pull into the run-up area and do whatever you need to do, or taxi back to the ramp because the jet's going to be hot. Okay. And do whatever accordingly.
Interesting. So, when I need a run-up, when I call ground, should I let them know right away? Because I hear it a lot here that the controllers have to keep asking, do you need a run-up?
Yeah, it's best you to advise us if you need a run-up. With most pistons, like the Cessnas and the Cherokees and most of those, we're going to assume, even though I like to use that word, but like to assume that they're going to need a run-up. So if you don't need a run-up, it's probably best you just tell us no run-up necessary instead of telling us you need a run-up.
Okay, interesting. And I noticed you guys have a couple of different run-up areas, base of the tower, you get the under 9. Right. How do you guys decide where you're sending this plane?
Depending on flow. So if the runway 9 is the main run-up area that we use when we're in east operation, if 9 run-up areas congested or we just have a lot of aircrafts that are waiting for IFR releases or anything like that, we're going to stack them at the base of the tower so that once the aircrafts depart from the base of the tower run-up area, as soon as they get to the runway, they're sequenced. Okay. So they have to get off the run-up area and then figure out where they're going to fit in between whatever aircraft.
Okay, great. So I did want to mention while we're here, and we have runway 9 here, I saw the master plan. So this runway will be extended 1,000 feet?
1,000 feet.
So 1,000 feet, and then they're going to extend the taxiways on both sides. Correct. Down there.
But it'll still be a displaced threshold, so 6,000 feet, if memory serves me right, will be available for landing. So it'll be displaced threshold, but for takeoff, 7,000 feet will be available.
Okay, and that's, so we got like globals here, and we have BBJs here now and stuff, and they can't get out full fuel. Correct. As it stands right now. In the middle of
summer or late summer.
In the summer, exactly.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of the base aircrafts that are here, like the globals and larger biz jets that do want to cross the lake, as I like to call it, they'll depart early in the morning when it's cooler, temperature depending, and so they'll be able to depart full fuel and go yeah, go to Europe or wherever they want to go, destination-wise, long lengths.
Your Challenger, can you get out full here, no problem?
Yeah, no problem. We have a couple challenges based here that they'll go from coast to coast, no problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So what are some of, I would say, controllers' frustrations when it comes to ground operations? Like, what are some of the biggest things that frustrate you guys that we do as pilots?
Not using, I'd say, frequency courtesy, stepping on someone when you hear a readback or anything like that. Just using common sense logic. If you hear someone talking or a controller giving a taxi instruction or something like that, wait for that readback from that pilot before you key up again.
Exactly.
And with your request, it's there's a lot of users on the airport. Just use the common decency to listen to the frequency before keying up.
Yeah, that's a big one. And
It's a huge
even when you switch over to the frequency, just give it a couple seconds.
Give it a couple seconds just to listen.
Yeah.
Be in the middle of a readback, could be full route clearance, and people just key up, hey, number 12305 wants to go to Northwest. When meanwhile, that controller and clearance just gave a full route clearance and is waiting for the readback from that pilot.
Yeah. So is that the number one frustration on
That's
ground?
number one.
Really? Okay.
All frequencies.
Okay, changing over to tower here. You know, and one of the things we did in the tower tour is they told us, look, we don't have to check in. If ground has handed us off the tower, we get up to our tower here at this airport. It's, you know, they know you're here. They see you. They have their tapes, their tags. So you just get in line and wait for them to call you. Now, it might not be the same at every airport, but so it is here.
Take off at 9.
Like they just did.
Courier track 185, contact ground 1 off.
Contact ground, Courier track 185.
What else on ground that, comes up a lot?
That's the main one, because apart from that, we'll move the aircrafts and, give them sequence accordingly. But just listening to the frequency before you're keying up is probably the number one.
Okay. Now, I know here we got crossing runways and things at FXE, and you got a couple of hotspots. Do you guys deal with those differently? You think differently? You more
We're just more
paying
aware of that. Yeah,
attention?
we're paying attention to those hotspots.
Okay. In what ways? Like,
Well, one of the main hotspots being here at Bravo and Echo, and just the exit point of runway 9 on Bravo. We're going to make sure that if we're giving an aircraft a taxi route instructions on runway 9 via Bravo Echo, make sure that they make that left turn onto Echo instead of Alpha, because then that could create a conflict for aircraft exiting off runway 9 on Bravo.
Okay.
So that's the main one.
now, 1-3, I noticed sometimes somebody will land, they miss the Bravo taxiway, and automatically just get off on 9 before the controller told them to.
1-3.
1-3, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
9, get off on 1-3. I mean, is that okay? I mean,
No, you should never turn on, all pilots should know, you never turn on a runway unless instructed by the controller. So you
Okay,
never
so
know. Yeah.
that's key. I see it all the time here at FXE.
They do that.
And I hear that the controller didn't tell them, okay, to exit on 1-3, and they just do it anyway.
Yeah, only when the controller tells you to turn on the runway should you turn on runway. Never turn on runway just at your own accord just because you missed taxiway Bravo. That goes for here or any other airport.
So past 1-3, go to Echo. Is it Echo?
It's going to be Gulf.
Golf after that.
Gulf's going to be the next taxiway after Bravo on the east side of 1-3.
Okay. All right, great. That's a wrap. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll see you on the next one.